There was something about Carter. It might have been our shared sense of humor or hobbies, but I was attracted to him at first sight and always had a crush on him. Yet, I settled for best friends. And despite everything he's put me through, I wouldn't trade our friendship for the world. Carter was recovering when we first met and was surprisingly open about his problem. His favorite was a powerful prescription that numbed any and nearly all pain. He was staying in a sober living house, transitioning back into society after a 90-day stay a little way out of town. He was all about recovery at the time and went to at least one anonymous meeting every day where I would usually go with him and wait in the car. I had no idea there were so many meetings with that many people around where we lived. And to me, it was like discovering this bubbling subculture of strangers supporting each other to do what it took to battle their demons and win. If I told you I did everything to stop it, I'd be lying to you, because the truth is, I was his enabler. I saw how much he craved his candy, and I allowed it because they were the same cravings I had for him. I loved him. When I tried to stop him and say that I wouldn't be around him if he continued, he wouldn't care because he would catch my bluff, and because I wasn't strong enough. He kept taking his candy until it overpowered him. Knowing what I know now, I can see that I was driven by my selfish love for him. We were driving around in my car, but he was doing the driving. While I was in the middle of relaying some random funny story from school, I noticed that he wasn't really listening. His eyes were locked straight ahead. We seemed to be going a bit faster, and the only sound he would make was the occasional sounds. He didn't need to tell me where we were going. Why? I asked. You've been doing so well. Really? Carter snapped. A guilt trip from you is the very last thing I need at a time like this. I didn't say another word. There's a saying in recovery circles that if you cradle a user, they'll pass in your arms. And on this cold September night, that's exactly what he did. I had a gut feeling something really bad was going to happen that night. I had taken over driving while he was getting high in the passenger seat. I'd never felt so disconnected from him, and I still felt dejected from when he'd snap at me earlier. And for the first time, I felt used, like a syringe. So perhaps I didn't react as quickly as I ordinarily might have after I watched him float above the clouds in stillness and silence. I was sick of always reacting. I felt like he didn't want me to care. He just wanted me to help him score his candy and play my part in a friendship that was, at its core, a fraud. Because friends care about one another, and I was supposed to just switch that off when he felt like risking his life again and again. I'd willingly play this role, and that's what made me his enabler. After 5 minutes though, out of instinct, I shook his shoulder and said, "Hey, Carter? Carter, you there? Hey!" I shook harder, feeling my own heartbeat race and my cheeks flush. I could feel tears welling in my eyes. I knew he'd taken too much. This is it, I thought. I pulled into a shopping center car park and called 911. I was pep-talking myself the whole time in a bid to stay calm, but my thoughts were racing faster and faster, and my hands were now shaking. After what felt like a lifetime, the paramedics arrived. About 5 minutes had passed. I followed the ambulance to the hospital, but lost track of Carter as they were wheeling him in on a gurney. In the ER, the lady at the desk told me to take a seat, and one of the nurses would come to get me when the time was right. I was frustrated by her vagueness, but words were failing me and I just nodded. I thought I wouldn't be able to sit still, but as soon as I hit the chair, I realized how exhausted I was, and my body melted into the seat. By this point, my self-talk had taken a severe turn for the negative and exhaustive, and one thought was consuming me. If he doesn't make it, it's your fault. My enabling of Carter's cravings became clear to me at that moment, with his life hanging in the balance. If he dies, it's your fault. My enabling of Carter's addiction became clear to me in that moment, with his life hanging in the balance. I've never paid more than lip service to religion, but I prayed that night, and I have ever since. I don't even know who or what exactly it is I pray to, just something bigger than myself. Whatever it is that has the power to give life and take it away, even if it's the love and care we extend to ourselves. She took me to see Carter. He'd just been Narcaned and was groggy and confused as to what had happened. She checked his oxygen levels to make sure he was okay to leave, and told him it's preferable he stay the night so they could monitor his condition. But he waved her off and clumsily grabbed for his jacket that wasn't there. Walking out of the hospital, I wanted to shake Carter, yell at him, and tell him that if he was really so intent on destroying his life, that he should just get it over with and stop breaking the hearts of the people that love him the most. But instead, I hugged him tight. I was furious that he put me in that situation, but at the same time, so relieved. He told me that I saved his life, and I suppose I did play a role in that. There are such tough feelings to reconcile, feeling both responsible for his almost ending his life and then perhaps for saving it. Carter is sober these days and doing really well. I'd be lying if I said I trust him completely again. Yet, that's all part of early recovery, as I've come to understand it. Love is unconditional. Trust is earned. Carter helped me learn that the hard way.